The Seattle Kraken unfortunately fell to the Colorado Avalanche 3-2 in Game 2. In Denver, Yanni Gourde after the game basically saying the Seattle Kraken don't need to change anything. I'm going to tell you why I agree, but also why I disagree. Let's get into it. I'm wearing my deep blue. We've got a game day tomorrow. Let's get into it on this episode of Locked On Kraken.
From the depths of the standings in year one to the base of that playoff mountain in year two, the Seattle Kraken have clinched their very first spot in the Stanley Cup Playoffs.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
Hey, what do you say, Seattle hockey fans? Happy Friday. I hope you got some rest after Game 2. We're coming to you a little bit later in the day. My voice, I absolutely lost my voice. And if you were watching on playback, you probably know why. But if you missed our playback watch party, here's a little clip. Now, the ESPN feed had not switched over to the Seattle Kraken feed yet. So we had to improvise. So on the screen, the game you're going to see is the Tampa Bay game, but you'll hear my call of the Eeli Tolvanen goal to start the game. Why are they not switching it? Girl, let me tell you what happened. So, anthem, bow. Drop the puck, bow. Seattle Kraken with the puck, bow, bow, bow. Got a shot on net, cha-ching. But wait a minute, somebody got salty because somebody caught them hands below the goal line and felt some kind of way, and they had to let them know. So now we dropping the puck. Oh, wait a minute, they had to start over. Hold on. Okay, bet. Geeky got that. Ooh, Larson with a shot. Bang, shoots it again. Okay, wait, Colorado now. They trying to get into the middle. Oh, wait a minute, they got it. Okay, Larson shot, blocked. Dropped it below. McCann, ooh, he got pushed. Bow. Nullified, if you will. See what I did? He got nullified.
I'm dead.
Colorado. Bow. Wait a minute. Okay, Seattle with some speed.
Dead ass.
I'm dead ass. I'm going to do this all night. Ooh, Yanni, I see what you did there. That was cute, though. Okay. Tolvanen. Okay, he scored the other night. Oh, it's a goal! It's a whole ass goal by the Seattle Kraken. Justin Schultz, bow. I like what I see. What I tell you though, because Eeli Tolvanen had the puck, and then he was coming down the right-hand side, and then he made a centering pass, bow. And you know who was right there? It was Justin Schultz. And that's how they got it. Ooh, look at that. Yes, queen. Yes, that was a perfect pass. One time, let's go. Boom. What I say, start early. What I say, we come and flood at it. Let's go. It still hasn't switched. I'm having too much fun though. Y'all feel and it was just me and Angelica Rodriguez. We are co-hosts of the Founding Four podcast for Black Rosie Media. We host the playback watch parties, and I hope you'll join us throughout the playoffs. I know a bunch of people, you're probably wearing these deep blue sweaters as the boys return to Climate Pledge Arena for the first ever playoff game in Climate Pledge Arena. Now, let's talk a little bit about the game last night. We'll get you ready for the game tomorrow, and a few things that I'm keeping an eye on. I told you, Yanni Gourde doesn't think there has to be much that changes, and he's right. And I want to challenge what he said just a little bit. If you watched on playback, you probably know what I'm going to say. I also told you, we might have to be a little bit bad news bears here today, just talking about stats and facts. and how Seattle Kraken have played at home this regular season. Now, the good news is that the numbers ebbed and flowed, shall we say, throughout the season, but overall, we are definitely a better road team. Now, we are going to be the lower seed through and through, so we'll see how that works out in our favor, if at all. Also, of course, we have an update because there will be a Game 5, and the NHL announced start times for Game 5. That's going to be on Wednesday, April 26th. We're headed back to Colorado, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Denver. So that's 6:30 local time if you are in the Pacific Northwest. It's going to be 8:30 local time for me, assuming that I'll be in Tulsa. But I think either way, I'll be in Central Time. I might not be in Tulsa, but I might be in Chicago. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we've got a lot to talk about. Speaking of Yanni Gourde, let's get to his comments, and then I can tell you a little bit why. Not that I wholeheartedly disagree with him. That would be a stretch by far. But I think there's just some things to consider, when it comes to what Yanni Gourde had to say. So let me take you to Yanni Gourde in the locker room after the 3-2 loss to the Avalanche.
Yeah, I liked our start, obviously. Go up 2-0 against that group over there. It's good. It's really good. We're in a great spot after the first period. They are so talented. They've been in this situation before. They're a great team, and we knew they were going to push. But for part of that second period, we didn't really have a response. We just got to manage the game a little bit better, know what to do, slow the game down a little bit, and then go back to our roots. What works for us. When we do that, we're a pretty successful group. So we don't have to chase the game. We don't have to change the way we play. Let's just go back to what we do, and we should be okay.
Here's what I like about what Yanni had to say. Great first period. As you heard earlier, I was super excited. Eeli Tolvanen got the game going. Also, Yanni Gourde himself has been playing a fantastic game. The first 2 goals, well, the only 2 goals of the game, if you really look at the replay, Yanni Gourde makes those plays possible. Again, in my little play-by-play, you heard me talking that he made a nice move off the boards. He kind of led his defender into the boards on one shoulder and then rolled off the defender. It's such a basketball move. He rolled off the defender the other way. So he baited him one way with the angle and then was able to spin out of that pinch into the boards, which then gave Tolvanen time to pick up the puck along the boards. I said he was coming down the right-hand side. He then made that centering pass to Schultz. Yanni Gourde. If you look at the replay, Yanni Gourde did a similar thing where he kind of slowly skates into the corner along the boards, and you see him looking around. He baits 2 defenders, and he's able to, again, spin out of the trap and poke. He ends up poking that stick wide and free for Brandon Tanev. Now, that was a shorthanded goal. So we're going to get into the stats and facts and power play, penalty kill, all of that stuff. But I first want to say that Yanni Gourde himself, in what he said post-game and how he performed in Game 2, we got to love this guy. I know there's a campaign for Yanni Gourde for captain. I've said I'm not against it. He wouldn't be my first choice personally, but his stock is rising for sure. I'll tell you a little bit later on the show why Yanni Gourde is not my first choice and some things that the Seattle Kraken are really going to need to focus on. And that's the part where I disagree with Yanni Gourde. But we had energy. We had a great start. You heard Dave Hakstol, and if you haven't already, check out the Locked On Kraken YouTube page because I have been uploading. I've backlogged a little, but we're going to be uploading the post-game media availabilities, so I don't have to necessarily play them here on the show. You can also check them out on social media. So check that out, because Dave Hakstol, similar thing. Everyone was in lockstep. There was a funny little moment. You know, we had our little spicy moment. So Brandon Tanev scores. I told you he gives his kiss to the crowd. The Colorado fan, she gave a kiss back. So that was a lot of fun. But I want to take you in just a moment to Brandon Tanev talking about that kiss, just because, you know, why not a little bit of spice? But I also want to let you know, in addition to listening or watching, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, which we thank you for making Locked On Kraken a part of your daily routine. In addition to doing all of that, the Locked On Network is also working with Sirius XM to bring you the broadcasts, and SiriusXM, I should say, already carries the broadcasts for everything like MLB, NBA, NFL, and of course, NHL. And we now have a promotional partnership with them. So make sure that if you are listening on the road, on the radio, and if you listen to SiriusXM, that you go check them out, because it's another opportunity. There's so many ways to watch these games, and I love that. I love that for us. So if you haven't already, download the SXM app. That's a lot to say. Again, it's the SXM app for your hometown broadcast. So you'll be able to hear the hometown broadcast, which is really great. I do think ESPN has been doing a great job. We talked about that on Playback. I want to get into a little bit more of my analysis of the broadcast as we move forward. But let's take you to Brandon Tanev after the game, again, in lockstep with what Yanni Gourde had to say. But I really more so want you to hear what he had to say about the kiss heard around the world. It was only a kiss. How could it end out like this? Anyway, here goes Brandon Tanev. Turbo!
Yeah, I think we just, gave their top players some time and space, and when you give time and space to the quality of players that the team has on the team, they're going to make plays. But at the end of the day, we'll learn from our mistakes here, and we're excited to get back home and ready for the next one here.
When you blew a kiss after your goal, was that in response to anything?
No.
Fans weren't jeering. Fans weren't jeering you or anything like that?
Nope.
With that shorthanded goal, can you just walk us through that play, how you saw that develop?
Yeah, Canada did a great job getting the puck down the ice, and everything goes to Yanni there. He worked his butt off to get that puck out in the slot, and I was fortunate enough to have some time and space. And when you get a shot off, you hope it goes in, and that was the case there.
It was only a kiss, folks. Let it go. Nothing to read into it. It was a fun time. What was a lot of fun was that first period start. Second period, not the way we wanted it. We did get some things together in the third. Momentum. Yeah, I know Dave Hakstol doesn't like momentum, but he does like that the Seattle Kraken are going to have a chance to play at home in front of the fans at Climate Pledge Arena come tomorrow. So let's hear what Dave Hakstol and the boys have to say about you. That's right, you, the Seattle Kraken fans that are going to be at CPA. If I hadn't been nursing a cold all week, I'd be right there with you, but that's all right. I know you're going to hold fast. I know you're going to stay true, and you're going to hold it down for all of the Kraken crew. Let's talk about the series all tied up coming to Climate Pledge Arena. That's coming up next on Locked On Kraken. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. That's huge. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know if the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride! Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Thank you, as always, for making Locked On Kraken a part of your daily routine. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And a reminder that we're running a promo on the Sirius SXM app. They are going to be carrying promos for us. And so we want to let you know that you can use the SiriusXM app to listen to your hometown broadcasts throughout all of the playoffs. Of course, we're talking the Stanley Cup playoffs, but you can also listen MLB, NFL, NBA playoffs are happening right now. So go check them out. The Seattle Kraken dropped the game. I liked the PK. We talked about this. Still a perfect penalty kill for the Seattle Kraken. And we leveled up. We talked about that in playback. I feel like people give me a little credit for that. I mean, it made me feel good, but also we know it's the guys on the ice doing the work. Auntie vibes are just auntie vibes. Sometimes I get a feel that something's good. And, you know, the data supports that, yeah, that feeling matches with the data. Let's go with it. So I love that for us. 0 for 2 on the on the power play for the Colorado Avalanche. But you know what? So were we. We still have not scored on the power play. I don't think it was a particularly effective power play. This is why I really want to see the power play get better for the Seattle Kraken. And it goes to what I was alluding to before. Yanni Gourde said we don't really have to change much about his game. I'm essentially paraphrasing, but he felt that, you know, they don't have to change. That's the direct quote. We don't have to change. And if you haven't already, check out NHL.com/Kraken because Bob Condor has an article up. Allison Lucan also talking about the instant analysis and also the quotes from the locker room. But that's where I disagree. Because something in the game that has to change, and maybe it's more of a mentality and a mindset, Seattle has to learn how to harness the energy and kind of the like, F you, dude, feeling that they're getting as Colorado's throwing their weight around. Talked about it with Chris in our preview of this series. Neither team is physical. That's what we knew coming in. Also told you on that preview squadcast with Chris from Locked On Avalanche that if we got baited into a physical game, I don't like that for us. We're not generally speaking hotheads, but we can get a little loco crazy when it comes to defending our honor, you know, and I know that's a very hockey thing I've talked about. I really don't get down with hockey fights. And also I feel like for the everydayers, I've mentioned to you a time or two that I am a recovering hothead. So I get it. I absolutely get it. And being on the outside looking in, we stepped outside of our game. And it was depleting. It was physically depleting for the Seattle Kraken to kind of play that bully ball hockey, as I called it on playback. It was exhausting for us. And Ellie Tolvanen talked a little bit about the fatigue that maybe the Seattle Kraken felt in the second period. Listen, you want to defend your guys. I also saw Emerald City Hockey point this out. You know I've been talking about this, talked about it on yesterday's show. The Colorado Avalanche are going to start singling out that top line. They already did it with McCann. They added Matty Beniers last game. They're not really messing around with Eberle. I don't know if that's a respect thing. He's been in the league for a while. I'm not really sure you want to mess with Eberle and catch these hands. You know what I'm saying? So you have to balance that because on the one hand, because Seattle, if we're being honest, we're a spry team. We're a blue collar team. We're not a heavily weighted team where we're going to throw our weight around. You know, there's a little bit we're like not super finesse players, but that's kind of who we are. And so yeah, a team like Colorado, who's the defending champions, who drops a game to us, who hadn't had a lead yet until last night in the series, in the games, they met success when they start bully balling us. And so on the one hand, you need the guys like Larson, like Alexiak, and yes, Yanni Gourde. He's our little, spark plug there. pepper pot, if you will. You need those guys to defend their teammates. And the Seattle Kraken have to just get a little tougher. I'm sorry. We got to get tougher. I love that Matty Beniers, for the most part, can handle himself. Vince Dunn got rocked. That was such a, lifted off of the ice. That's what they're going to do to us because they're a heavier team, or they can play heavier. So I'm conflicted because I'm telling the Seattle Kraken to do something that I personally probably wouldn't do. I would probably wreck some things just to make sure that my teammates weren't being jostled around. And I get that, but you have to have a balance. And I think if we can contain that and play for the greater good against Colorado, then that's when the power play has to become lethal. 2-goal win and 2-goal cushion in game 1. Lose by 1 goal in game 2. Neither team scored on the power play in the first 2 games. If we had a great equalizer, and I talked about this also in the preview episode Squadcast with Locked On Avalanche, the Avalanche can get lazy. We talked about it on playback, and we obviously see that they can be hotheads. So if the Seattle Kraken play the game where they bait them into being physical and then knock their teeth in on the power play, that's what I want to see. I'm telling them to do something that historically in my life I have not been able to do. And I am working through these problems, okay, people? I am working through these problems. That being said, I want more for us, and we want to win a series. We want to advance to the next one, and this right now is one of the differences that the Seattle Kraken can make in order to tilt the ice in their favor. Because Colorado, when we play our game, they lost by 2 goals, and they were losing down too early in the first, and really had to deal with us late in the third. The second period was not our forte, and that's when we were getting Wreck-It Ralphed all over the ice. If we can let them do that, let them freaking do that. If that's how they want to play clean, play straight up so we're drawing penalties and we are more effective. Shoot the puck. Where is Eddie O? Since we're on playback, we're listening to the ESPN, and I guess now it's going to be TBS, but we're listening to the national broadcast, and I try as much as possible to also listen to Root Sports, but I don't know. Let me know. Are you watching on Root Sports? Because I've been watching mostly on the national broadcast. Is Eddie O yelling at them to shoot on the power play? I think they're being a little bit too polite, too clean, too, I don't know what, calculated on the power play. We got to pop their teeth in or out. Is it in or out? We want to knock their teeth in so that they pop out, right? All right. Anyway, knock their teeth in, boys. Come on. And we can do that by just changing. It's just like the littlest, tiniest thing. Stay a little bit more composed when we're getting Wreck-It Ralphed all over the ice. And get aggressive. Use that. Get aggressive on the power play. Use some of what we've been doing on the PK and use that energy on the power play. That's what I want to see. That's why I just slightly, I love you, Yanni. I love you more than my luggage. But I slightly disagree with you that you don't have to change everything. But maybe we change this one thing. Let me know in the comments. That's the question of the day. Do you agree with Yanni? Or are you open that maybe there's a thing or two that we can change? I'm saying excuse me. I'm saying we change how we deal with our composure and then use and harness that energy for the power play. That's my option. Yanni says we're good to go. A lot of the guys are saying we're good to go. And I think that's what they're going to say in media. But there's some tinkering that needs to be done. Let's hear what Dave Hakstol has to say. That's coming up on this episode of Locked On Kraken. I'm fired up, man. I am really because I know it's the right thing for me to do to stay home. You can probably hear my voice breaking. I'm really not well as I cough, right? And it's tough though, because, I can get up energy for an hour to 3 hours at a time in spurts, but it's just not going to work for this time. So enjoy, have a good time. I'm there with you in spirit. I'll be rocking the blue. I'll be saging the apartment, getting ready for tomorrow. But, let's take care of some bills. All right, Seattle hockey fans, we're closing in on it. There was something I thought beautiful about what Dave Hakstol said, especially last night, because he did speak to media earlier before the plane got on their flight back to Seattle, because it's a game day tomorrow at Climate Pledge Arena. Did I tell you that? And if you're not at CPA, like unfortunately I am not, I want to remind you that you can use the SXM app to listen to your hometown broadcast of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, as well as MLB, NBA, NFL, all of the things. So give SiriusXM a listen. Shout them a holler, if you will. S'il vous plaît. And of course, we'll have you right here on Locked On Kraken. Dave Hakstol wants, and the team, they want to stay focused. They're doing everything they need to do, and they're going up against a really great team. Not just a great team, the team that won the whole thing last year. They have had some changes. We have had some changes, but we're in the ring against Colorado, and that's it. The record before is what got us here. The stats before are what got us here. And we're not going to sway from the type of hockey, the Seattle Kraken hockey that made this team successful. And it has to be the best version of Seattle Kraken hockey we've ever seen. I want to take you over to what Dave Hakstol had to say, especially to media immediately following the 3-2 loss in Colorado. Let's take you to Denver.
All right, gang, let's go.
Can you start by talking about draws in this game, the importance of face-offs and how they played a part in the result?
Well, face-offs are always a big part of a hockey game. Obviously, if you're asking, with the loss. But we didn't learn a whole lot new about our team. We know what our team is. We know who we are. We're pretty comfortable with that. We came in and got one. We had to do that. Now we get a day of travel, day of rest tomorrow, and we get back at it.
At home, how do you think they can feed off of some of that and work that to their?
Oh, I'm sure our guys are looking forward to getting home and having that opportunity to play the game in front of our fans there. And I hope our fans are fired up for it, because we will be. Like I said, going home 1-1. I talked a little bit about it today. Like you need to find different ways to meet the intensity level as the series progresses. We had parts of tonight's game we were able to do that. I'm happy with our compete level, with our battle level, with a lot of parts of our game. They beat us by one tie series. We're heading home. We'll recoup and get back at it.
What's not to like? What's not to like? He's saying all of the right things. Right? And we know that. That being said, the Seattle Kraken, we sometimes struggle at home. I mean, we can't make any bones about it, right? Going into our final regular season game of the season against Vegas, which was a home game, and we lost it. The Seattle Kraken had a 20-16-4 home record. So we added a 17th loss there. We had a 26-11-4 road record. So, I mean, is it an overwhelming difference? No. At times of the season, it was early on in the season. And some of that was we were playing a lot on the road. I get it. In the playoffs, it's every little inch, right? Every little advantage. Like I said, there have been ebbs and flows. There have been ebbs and flows to the home record. We have a chance to let go of all of that, right? The numbers are important. They give us a baseline, but the playoffs are completely different. That's why when we get our game notes, they are only focused on this series and this playoff run, and there's never been another, so we're creating history. I want the Seattle Kraken to take us back to, you know what I'm going to say, where we're the whole damn show, baby. That's right. Sharon Nairi Williams put that in our hearts for the expansion draft, and this is the first time in a real significant way, not to play the regular season, but this is the playoffs. We, as Kraken fans, as an organization, and as the guys on the ice and on the bench that get to represent us, right, as an extension of the community, tomorrow's game, and gosh, I'm hurting myself because I was supposed to be there, but I wasn't. Anyway, that's just what I believe. If I was supposed to be there, I'd be there, and I won't be there. I'm where I'm supposed to be. But are you going to be there? Are you going to be a part of history? Are you going to help usher in this part of Seattle Kraken history where we let people know, especially in the playoffs, when you come to Climate Pledge Arena, that's right, we're the whole damn show. I don't care what Colorado did last year. I don't care what Colorado did last night. They step onto the ice at Climate Pledge Arena, and they have to deal with the 32 crew. Our number is in the rafters. We are part of this franchise, and so now you have to go out and get after it. If you're listening on Sirius SXM, if you are watching with us on playback, or if you are sitting your butt watching the replays of the first goal in franchise history scored at home, Tolvanen's making a case for it to be him, by the way. He was a part of both of the first goals in Game 1 and Game 2. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if Ellie Tolvanen's involved. You get to watch the replay on the Twins. We are the whole damn show. It's time to get loud. It's time to knuck if you buck. We got to get big. I want Seattle to play big, play smart and composed, but play big. You take a hit, snap right back up. Put a hit on somebody else. Win the 50-50 pucks. Now, that's something that Dave Hakstol talked about. Just a missed opportunity here and there, especially on the third goal, to win those 50-50 pucks. No mercy. No mercy. Team didn't practice today. The guys didn't talk to media, at least, not on video like Dave Hakstol did. He did a Zoom call. I said it. We got to go all out in these games. If we're not going to practice, then there's no excuse to do everything you can. A little bit lackadaisical on the second goal, and if we're being honest, on the third. Not anything that is concerning, except if it becomes a habit. Play like we're the whole damn show. We're the ringleaders. We are in the center circle, the spotlight on us, and that's the type of energy and pressure being a privilege that we want. Everyone came into this series talking about Colorado. Stanley Cup champions defending their title. Good for you. Good for you. And this is where I want to get to ESPN, because we won't have them on Saturday tomorrow. I think it was Mark Messier that said, Seattle Kraken has to respect the Avalanche, and we do, but not on the ice. We don't have time to play respectfully to the defending champions. They have to prove it. And already We've put a little chink in their chain. And what did they do? They started playing bully ball hockey because that's the only way they could beat us. I said what I said. I said it on playback. They had to play bully ball hockey because that's the only way they could get an edge. All right, we saw the playbook. Now what are we going to do about it? In our barn? You're going to let somebody hit Vince Dunn like that in our barn? Excuse me? That hit on Schultze? On Beniers? You're going to let that fly? No. And I don't need everyone to go after them, at least physically, drop the gloves. We don't need that. I don't really want that. But you damn well better, when you have a chance to lay a clean hit to win a 50-50 puck, you damn well better do it. And that's what we talked about the other day. Matty Beniers said the team had a conversation, and they know that's what you do to show you're all in. That's what you do to show you're all in. Don't chase them down to drop the gloves. Chase the puck down. Puck's on our stick, good things will happen. That's what I want to see. That's what we're going to see tomorrow night. I'm calling it into existence. We're going to sage the jersey. We're going to make sure we're doing all the good Kraken crap. Tomorrow, I can't wait. We're watching on playback. As always, a reminder to hold fast and stay true. The everydayers, thank you for being with me all week. My voice cracking here and there and just random things popping into my head. Who knows? It's been a week, but it's been a great week. A history-making week, and we are going to continue on that trajectory come tomorrow. Enjoy the game. I'll see you after the game on the interwebs. If you're not watching with us on playback, hold fast, stay true. Let's go Kraken. We'll talk Monday. It'll be another game day episode, game 4. Will we have the lead or will Colorado? You know what I want. Now we have to go get it. Peace.